Anybody who knows me is aware that I was extremely bullish on Tesla, the company, for several years. From 2019 onward, I would simply not stop talking about this little known car company. Probably got really annoying. That went on to become something much bigger called Tesla. The result was 1000% return on the money I invested. Some of my tranches were up as much as 2000%, but overall, as an overall position, it was my first 10x, my first 10 bagger. So, as someone who is extremely bullish on Tesla since 2019, would I buy the stock today? I won't waste your time. The answer is no. If you're interested, I will go into the reasons why. There are a lot of risks currently facing Tesla today, and there's a high probability that I think Tesla is going to see yet another 50 to 70% pullback in its stock price at some point. I'm not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow, but if you just look back in the last few years, Tesla stock dropped 71% in 2022. It dropped 52%. It reached its recent low of $214 in March of 2025. And today, I think that the company really faces the biggest risks that it has in 5 years because the stock trades at a PE ratio of around 300. It's entirely based on two future products that don't exist commercially today. It has effectively become a bet the company moment, and it's being priced as if one of these two moonshots, either Robotaxi or humanoid robots, exist today and have very high margins. So, with any whiff of trouble, be it in the broad market or specific to Tesla, the stock is going to crater. There's an old adage in investing that goes, if you would not buy a stock today at its current prices, then you probably should not own it. And I definitely would not want to buy it at the current prices. I think there's much better opportunities with, better risk to reward. So they kind of find themselves in this paradox, the paradox of perfection, really. And now you have competition. So the problem is this is no longer about, are Tesla EVs going to have a temporary slowdown? Are they going to sell maybe some less electric vehicles this quarter or this year, or maybe for a few quarters? It's no longer about that. It's about whether these moonshots will stall at all, if there will be any whiff of trouble, because if there is, the stock is going to crater. Now, I've been asking this question for a very long time now, and I've never gotten a good answer. So maybe somebody can give me that in the comments below, and maybe I'm missing something. But here's what I've been thinking about. What if, let's call this the best case scenario, that Tesla does succeed with robotaxis, and it truly is able to get, regulatory approval for a level 5 autonomous robotaxi that does not need a human driver. But so does the competition. They also get there. Let's say that competitors get level 5 autonomy clearance. How long will Tesla really have before multiple other companies have comparable technology out on the roads? Today, ex-USA, you have the threat from Chinese companies. In the US, you have Waymo from Google, which, depending who you ask, people think is ahead of Tesla today. I know that that's a hot topic there, but it's already doing, in the case of Waymo, they are doing hundreds of thousands of paid robotaxi rides. They're scaling to more and more cities. And then you have other competitors like Zoox from Amazon. You have Rivian building their own autonomy platform. Just to name a few, I did see today Rivian got blown up a little bit, down 7%. I know that their robotaxi or their self-driving software, I'll say, I know that was part of the reason that I think it was UBS did the downgrade, that maybe it's not as good as it was hyped up to be, which, it's going to take some time. But anyway, what will stop this industry from becoming a margins race to the bottom? We've already seen something similar with ride hailing with human drivers. Uber was a great innovation. It's a great company, but Uber and Lyft have struggled to go up parabolically in market cap because it's been a race to the bottom where they constantly must undercut each other on the ride hailing prices. So I just don't see how it's not extremely likely that in the best case that we get true autonomy and robotaxi, but that it doesn't follow a similar trajectory as what happened with Uber and Lyft. And this time, arguably, you have much better companies with a lot more money as your competition as well. So throughout most of Tesla's existence, it really never faced real competition. Let's be real. They were the undisputed leader in electric vehicles. They really had no serious competitors until a few years ago. But now every industry that they're competing in, they face entrenched companies with deep, deep pockets. I mean, they're competing with big tech. They're competing with these formidable Chinese automobile and self-driving companies. And sure, well, China will be blocked from selling cars in the US, as if China was allowed to sell these $10,000 cars here, it would surely bankrupt every car company we have. But they are definitely, Chinese companies are beginning to dominate in the rest of the world, where they are allowed to export their vehicles. So it's not a matter of competition is coming. No, it's already here. So that's a lot of issues. And then a bright spot for Tesla, it's not all bad. I mean, their energy segment is fantastic. Their energy storage with the power walls and mega packs, it's an incredible business. But it's sure to be a capital intensive one that is also going to face growing competition. And in no way does it justify anywhere close to the current Tesla valuation. And this is a problem, is like these great industries attracts great competition. It's they're not going to just let one company have the whole market. Sure, in some cases it's happened. You have companies go 0 to 1. You have the Googles and the Amazons of the world, but it kind of took a lot and a lot of luck too to get there. But in the case of Tesla, it is a great company. I'm not disputing that. It just has one massive issue. It is a fantastic company. I can't stress that enough. I hope they succeed. I think it's already fundamentally changed the world for the better in its brief history. And if you think about it, companies like Apple have been around 40 plus years. Tesla's barely been around 20 years, and it really didn't get going until 10 years ago, probably more like 5 years ago, because the first 10, 15 years of their existence, they were really just fighting to survive and stave off bankruptcy. I think that finally started to change in around 2020. So just imagine what's possible in another 10 or 20 years with this world-class company. And that's the thing. I mean, you really do have to be in it and believe it for the long term. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. But though the odds seem insurmountable today, like I said, I think it's facing the biggest risks it has in 5 years since it was pre-profit. Insurmountable odds. That's not stopped them in the past. So I would never bet against them. I would never do something as insane and foolish as like shorting the company. I'm just choosing not to buy it here. But what we do know for certain is it is going to be a roller coaster of volatility. The stock price is sure to swing wildly as things break, as the stock skews to extremes, as it detaches from fundamentals like we currently see. And, that could happen both ways. The market tends to get overly optimistic and then overly pessimistic. And I think that's where the opportunity lies. And I would definitely be looking to buy there if we did get a big pullback or something fundamentally changed here. But I do think Tesla's main risk lies in its current valuation. It's priced not as a car company, not a car, and it's priced not as a car and energy company. It's not even being priced as a robotics and an AI company. It is being priced as an AI and robotics monopoly. That's the problem, based off products that, as far as commercial sales go, do not exist today. So that's while increasingly, like I mentioned, the world is honing in on AI, autonomous driving, and robotics is all anybody's talking about. So that's going to attract tremendous competition. I mean, these industries are already fiercely competitive and well funded. Big tech companies are able to put hundreds of billions of dollars of profits into this fight over the next few years. Tesla just made barely, just under $100 billion in total revenue, right? They're up against the likes of Google and Amazon. I mean, these companies bring in, over the next few years, will bring in hundreds of billions of dollars in profit. Tesla brought in 100 billion in revenue. Their net income was a few $1 billion. So Google, Amazon, and many of these other huge companies can afford to outspend Tesla by an order of magnitude. So Tesla's priced to perfection, and that makes it hard to justify going long here in the face of so much execution risk and uncertainty. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What am I missing? Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.